Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We kick off today's video with a story that anyone who's worked a late night shift can probably relate to. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Sleep-deprived retail worker shuts down rude shopper. Working the graveyard shift at a 24-hour supermarket has its perks. I can listen to music in my headphones while stocking shelves, and if by some miracle shipment happens to come late or if all the work gets done early, I can disappear off the floor just for a few precious minutes of sleep and get paid for it. Only thing sucked about it was the fact that it was part-time and the pay wasn't so great. Our work attire was exactly like the Walmart employees, except our work shirt had the company name on it, which doesn't help. Why, you ask? Because the supermarket was Weiss. So if you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't tell the difference, which is a headache in itself. So my shift is over, which is around 7-ish, and I'm running on fumes at this time. A friend's birthday's coming up, so I decided to get him something sports-related, and unfortunately my store didn't have what I had in mind. Off to Walmart, not realizing what type of crap I'm about to put myself into, but whatever. It's in and out so I can go home and sleep. Get to the store, empty parking lot. Feeling good so far, beeline to the sports section, found what I wanted and attempted to leave, but I figured, F it, since I'm here, might as well get me something for myself, which I did. A Bluetooth speaker for my room. Nothing big. As I'm in the electronics, which at this stage in my life, I assume no one works in this department because it's always empty, and as I'm reading the details on numerous devices, I hear a rugged voice trying to get my attention in the oh-so-nice way of, "Can I get some help here?" I'm lacking precious minutes of sleeping right now, kicking myself for staying longer than I should, but F it. I deserve a gift for myself for getting low pay, and I'm not in the mood for this bullcrap. "Sorry, dude, don't work here. But you're wearing the attire, so obviously you do. Not all blue polos are equal." After I said this, I pointed to my shirt with the company name that says Weiss, not Walmart, to indicate that yes, there are various slave owners in the world of retail that have W in their name. Mine just doesn't say Walmart. "Okay, and that means I don't work here, fam." "All right, but still." At this point, I blocked out a good portion of what he said because I'm arguing with myself for getting onto this crap to begin with. Plus, I'm questioning whether or not I explained myself in English the first time, since right now I'm fighting sleep, and fighting sleep leads to irritability. Exit strategy attempt. "Sir, with all due respect, if you can find someone who can help you, they will, but I'm not that person as I don't work here." "Look, kid, I'm a paying customer, so you better do your job." Alrighty then, a-hole mode activated because F this guy. "Okay, look dude, I don't work here, nor do I plan on working here. I just left my graveyard shift and really not in the mood for this. Wobble your butt over to a different department and see if you can find someone who effing cares. My shirt says Weiss, not Walmart, and it damn sure doesn't say open to effing interpretation. This is my last time saying this crap to you. F off, Snorlax, I'm busy." Maybe this is what people call divine intervention, but when we were about to lock horns in a shouting match, the mythical creature that is called Walmart employee actually steps in to defuse the situation. He tells his side, playing victim, and swears up and down I'm an employee here. I just point to my shirt so the unicorn can see it and confirms what I said. The look on his face was something so amazing that I had the biggest grin on my face, even though I had enough bags under my eyes to carry whatever I bought for the day. The guy tells me he got this and apologized for the inconvenience. "It's not your fault, man. You weren't the jerk in this situation, but I sincerely hope you can avoid a-holes like him as much as possible." He nods in agreement and walks off. First off, props to you for surviving the graveyard shift. That kind of sleep-deprived existence is already brutal, and then you had to deal with Snorlax over here acting like you owed him a quest item. Like, how many times does a person need to be told, "I don't work here," before they process it? At that point, it's a personal choice to be that dumb. And our second story. Elderly man outsmarts his cheap wife and gets the mower he deserves. Sorry for the long post, but it helps to show the situation the gentleman was in. I've retired from retail now, but have done retail for 30 plus years, so I have a lot of stories. I managed a fairly good-sized family-owned outdoor power business. We sold everything from small farm equipment down to the garden trowel. It was an incredibly hot late June, but grass was growing because it had been a wet season. The brand we sold had recently introduced a 42-inch zero-turn mower with a steering wheel. I placed this mower near the parts and service counters with a sign on it as we were running a special. Enter nice elderly gentleman, E.G., and cheap wife, C.W., while staff was busy with customers. Immediately evident was the man had been struggling as his face was red and covered in sweat. I personally was bouncing between parts and service counters helping out as they were busy and sales wasn't. When they entered, I looked up and greeted them, apologizing that we were all busy, but we'd be with them soon. Until then, please help themselves to the seats, chilled water, and snacks we had out. I finished with my first customer and walked over to E.G., who's now circling the mower, and shake his hand, introducing myself. He starts asking me about the mower, so I start answering him. After a few questions, his wife comes over and starts in on us. You don't need to sell him a new mower. We have a push mower that he's been using for years, and it's perfectly fine. Just get us a new blade and we can leave. He hands me a slip of paper with the model numbers from his mower, and I go to look it up. Meanwhile, the wife continues to scold him for trying to waste money on a mower and how the mower wouldn't work as their backyard has a gate. After retrieving the blade, approaching the counter, his wife has now gone to the table, putting snacks and water in her large purse. The EG hands me the money for the blade, and I make change. As I hand him the change, I pass him a pamphlet about the new rider, and they leave. Over an hour later, the EG calls asking for me. I answer, asking if there's a problem. He'd been struggling to take the bent blade off and now needs me to send someone to either fix it there or bring it back to our shop and change the blade for him. I get his address, realizing he's close to my bank, so I offer to just stop by and change the blade for him since I could probably do it in a minute or so, since I needed to go by there anyway. When I got there, his wife was asking how much I was going to charge her for doing this, and I said it was fine, as I was going just down the street. She goes inside, and he starts asking more questions. Couple hours later, he returns, and I see him from my office desk, so I meet him before he gets across the showroom. Concerned and asking if everything's all right, he says everything's fine and thanks me for helping him out. He asks me how would he get the mower into his backyard when it's fenced off, and I inform him that with the chute raised, it's only 45 inches, so if they had a 48-inch gate, it usually fits. If not, we do have another rider that's only 32 inches wide, but not zero turn. He smiles, saying his gate has 46 inches of clearance and wondered if we could deliver by closing time. After signing the paperwork, taking the payment, and setting up a delivery within the hour, I asked about this wife. Apparently, she decided to go with the rider then. Once again, he grinned, saying, "Oh, hell no. She said it was easy to use the push mower, so I might as well keep doing that." I told her if it's so easy, then get out there and finish it. Otherwise, I'm going to buy that rider. Worried about drama, I went with the delivery man to ensure no problems. His wife looked out the windows but never came outside. When we left, he was happily mowing the yard on his new rider. That's a masterclass in strategic patience and well-earned victory. The poor guy endured the heat, the nagging, and even an emergency blade change just trying to keep up with yard work while his wife was stuffing snacks in her purse. Enjoy your ride, King. And our last story. HOA called it a shed, so we built a whole village of them. My parents built an adorable playhouse for my younger siblings in our backyard. It was colorful, had cute little windows, and even a tiny porch. My siblings loved it immediately. However, not everyone was happy about this new addition to our yard. One sunny afternoon, a letter arrived from our local HOA claiming, "Your property now contains an unauthorized storage shed, which must be removed immediately. Additionally, it's encroaching upon your neighbor's property." My dad was stunned. He immediately went next door to speak with our neighbor, Rick. Rick was outside watering his garden when my dad approached. "Hey, Rick," my dad called out, waving. "Oh, hey there, Tom, what's up? Did you get any notice about our playhouse being on your property?" Rick looked puzzled. "What? No, we talked about it clearly before you built it. I thought it was perfectly fine." "Exactly my thought," my dad replied, shaking his head in frustration. The HOA's claiming it's a storage shed and that it's on your land. Rick laughed in disbelief. A shed? Have they even seen it? It's obviously a playhouse. Come on, let's figure this out together. Determined to prove the HOA wrong, my dad and Rick began meticulously documenting everything. They took detailed measurements, snapped numerous photos from multiple angles, and even printed aerial photographs clearly showing the boundaries of both properties. To top it off, they hired a professional surveyor. At the next HOA meeting, my dad confidently presented the evidence. Rick stood beside him, silently nodding in agreement. After patiently laying out all the documentation, my dad concluded, as you can clearly see, it's nowhere near Rick's property line, and it's undoubtedly a playhouse, not a storage shed. There was a brief silence, then a board member cleared her throat and said sternly, "Regardless, Mr. Thompson, it looks like a shed to us, so it needs to go away." My dad's face turned red with anger. Are you serious? Did you not listen to a single word we just said? This is absurd. Another board member shrugged dismissively. Rules are rules, Tom. Fuming, my dad stormed out of the meeting with Rick trailing behind. These people are out of control, Rick grumbled. They sure as hell are, my dad replied, a mischievous smile forming on his face. But I think I know how to handle this. Over the next few weeks, my dad went door to door around our neighborhood, passionately explaining the absurdity of the HOA's demands. Most neighbors were equally frustrated with the HOA's authoritarian behavior. What do you suggest we do, Tom? One neighbor asked. Build playhouses, my dad declared confidently, or as the HOA calls them, sheds. If everyone builds one, they can't single us out. Soon, colorful, whimsical playhouses began popping up all around our block. The HOA board members went ballistic, bombarding residents with letters and threats, but their anger only unified our neighbors further. At the next HOA meeting, neighbors collectively presented photos and documentation proving the playhouses were harmless and complied with our property guidelines. These are playhouses for our kids, not sheds, Rick firmly stated. Maybe it's time to reconsider the board's composition. Facing overwhelming community opposition, several board members were voted off shortly after. The new board dropped the ridiculous complaints against the playhouses, bringing sanity and peace back to our neighborhood. To this day, the colorful playhouses stand proudly in backyards. Sometimes the best way to deal with bullies is to outsmart them collectively. Now this is how you deal with HOA nonsense, strength in numbers, and a well-executed petty rebellion. I can just imagine the HOA members losing their minds as more and more sheds started popping up. The pettiness, the unity, the justice. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.